Namaste. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about how we can use our trapeze to decompress and traction our spine. Now, I know the most obvious way most of us think of is probably to just hang upside down. But what if you have sinus pressure on any given day or high or low blood pressure? Hanging upside down for more than 20 seconds might just give you a headache. It's actually something that you need to work up to and build tolerance for. Now, studies show that if we spend up to 6 minutes a day into some kind of traction-like or inverted position, we can really help maintain that length and spaciousness through the joints and the vertebrae of our spine. Now, I'll cover our classic inversion, but also some other ways we can get similar effects, and some of them were actually right side up. Now, taking a look at that classic inversion, you want to make sure that you are hung properly on your trapeze, your sling, or your swing, whatever you might be working with. Typically it's tippy toes, and this will come right to about the region of your hip flexors. Finding your way into a seat. And you don't need to pull the fabric all the way down to the backs of your knees. You basically want to come right to the top of the thigh where our thigh and our glute meet. Arms are going to come up and through the back. I do like to hold on to my handles and extend them away from me. This way, as I drop back, I could actually cross my legs out and through the middle and not get stuck in my fabric. I will tend to put the soles of the feet together, but some people will flex the feet and hook the fabric. One isn't right, one isn't wrong. I think it's more personal preference. From here, backs of the hands to the floor, lengthen the neck. You may need to do a little look from side to side to really let everything go. You'll hear me say tone the core, so navel draws in and just gently pull the ribcage together. What this does is it takes some of that dumping out of the lumbar, which is where we're most mobile. Something that I personally find helpful, especially if you are not one to hang upside down for very long or you're just getting started. Hands can walk forward or back. I guess it's kind of depends on your orientation, but I'm walking towards the top end of my mat. And it almost feels like a little downward facing dog. I'm gonna allow my body weight to sink through. And then if I feel like I need a little refresher here, I need just kind of a breather because I don't like being upside down, I can just kind of float forward and lift my gaze for a moment. And then as I feel ready, I could sink back in. Also incorporating some twisting action, so hands to the floor and just gently push in to help give a little bit of rotation. I don't want to move my legs at all. I don't want to compromise my connection with my fabric and where I am. So if you are using your hands on the floor, my recommendation always is to come back. Let all the body weight come back into your swing or your trapeze before you take your exit. The exit is always slow, especially if you've been upside down for a long period of time. Pull yourself up to a seat where you can sit, or you can catch the elbows and just gently kind of let your body weight hang forward. Become totally accustomed to being right side up. A little bit of dizziness is normal here. So that was our backwards inversion. But what about downward facing dog, which is a forward inversion? And this is something I could spend a lot more time in than a backwards inversion. So, classic downward dog position, you'll want to come right onto those hip flexors and fold forward. Just as we would in downward facing dog, hands to the floor and actively push the ground away. There's a tendency here to just kind of want to put your feet on the floor. See if you can really push through the heels. All right, I want to focus on length here. So I'm extending through the heels, tailbones lifted towards the ceiling, and I'm actively pushing the ground away. Same thing for our lumbar here. Tone the core and draw the ribcage together so we don't dump into our lumbar. You can also just come into a basic hang. So you can just literally, I think of this as just kind of like hanging in a little nugget position. So just let gravity do the work. We have a wrapped downward dog position, so hands right underneath those shoulders. You'll take the legs wide and they will hook all the way around to the front of the fabric. So I'm just gonna flex my feet and find the fabric. Hands can walk back. And the goal is to sink the chest through. Make sure we have that nice core engagement or else I'm gonna dump into my back. So draw the navel in, ribs together. Adding side bends too. And as I said before, I can spend a lot more time here than in the other position. So I can really just focus on letting gravity do work on me. Now, what if we need to stay right side up? You'll want to take the fabric right behind your shoulders and walk underneath your plumb line. Now this can get a little pinchy, so one of two things. Hold on to your handles and just give a little pull down, or hands come behind the fabric and you can actually push the fabric away, and that should help alleviate any pinching. Once you're here, you could extend the legs. We want to let the body weight sink, navel draws in, so we're just giving into gravity. And you can hold static at center, or I like to add rotation. I'm going to cross one leg over, adding a spiral. You want to make sure that we're feeling that sense of cinching in through center as we give into gravity. This is back, but also really sweet on side body. Of course, you're doing both sides. Second variation is to do a little bit of a figure four. So I'm going to let my body weight sink, adding small movements here. Really trying to release the hip along with the back. And exiting, you'll just walk back to release. Now we can take a similar action from standing. My issue here is grip strength becomes an issue. I can only hold for about 30 seconds before I need a break. I want you to make sure that if you are doing this version, that you are not sinking into your shoulders, but you actually feel the shoulder blades sliding down your back and are contracted. Then you can let your body weight sink, giving into gravity, navel draws in. You can try your twisting from here. I like the extended leg, I can cross over. And like I said, for me, this is maybe 30 seconds before I need a break, but it will help with grip strength if that's something you wanted to work on. Up and out. Now, what if you want something a little more restorative? I'm going to take my carabiners, most likely all the way down to the bottom of your daisy chains. The height and the location of the swing is really important on this one. So for me, this is right about at the middle of my shins, so I'm really at a low hang here. You want to take this into a seat, and I do recommend giving just a little bit of billowing of the fabric, so it's nice and snug around you. Similar to our inversion, we're going to come back and hook our legs in front. So slowly, maybe hold on to your handles. Legs come in front and they hook. The reason why it's so important that we have the right angle of our hammock is I don't want too much flexion of your neck. So if my hammock were higher than the middle of my shins, there'd be a lot of strain on the neck here. But here, I feel very comfortable. There's no strain there. And I can really allow this hanging action through the pelvis. You can even do a little bit of a push. So I'm going to press into my fabric, squeezing the glutes, and then let everything hang. Similar, you can do your little twists, back and forth. And then you can just hang. I find this one really nice, and I could stay into it for long periods of time, similar to my yoga inversions, like legs up the wall. And of course, we just come out nice and slow. We unhook and pull ourselves up. Come into your seat, or maybe a little forward fold. Some safety precautions we need to consider when working our inversions are head injuries, something like a concussion, medical histories in the eyes, such as retinal detachment or glaucoma, high or low blood pressure, vertigo, pregnancy, and of course, sinus issues and allergies are going to make things really uncomfortable. Now remember, we're working towards 6 minutes a day, and that doesn't necessarily have to be all at once. Maybe you want to start your day with some downward dog or some twisting actions, and then end your day with that delicious restorative version. I've started a playlist specifically for the trapeze, and I will continue to add to it regularly. Hopefully I will see you soon, and happy, safe inverting.